around?
Well, it was like I went to Singapore 3 times.
All right.
That was my third time. So the third time I didn't do so well.
All right. I thought it had something to do with the girly boys, but who knows?
Nah, I was in the Middle East 3 times on active duty. So
yeah.
But
thank you for your service.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. It's like where the discipline comes from to do this job.
Yeah.
It's like you have to be very disciplined and.
Yeah, I got to go to the Army now.
I actually went back in 2008 and I did a 10-day tour
USO,
in Iraq for USO. Made the troops laugh. Performing Saddam Hussein's, what do you call it, theater outside of Baghdad.
Oh, he's got a theater?
Yeah, he's got palaces, theaters.
Right. Wow.
So, yeah, I was there. And this is a good job, man. I love this job.
Anywhere you can get to see Saddam Hussein's theater, that's a good job.
Yeah.
This guy's got a good job too, the rock star. Now, where we left off, you've done the guitar. Now, your father, from what I read, your father got you a Les Paul, or somebody got you a Les Paul. That was your first guitar.
I actually saved up my own money for that. And,
okay.
It wasn't a Les Paul. It's a Les Paul double cut. It was a very cheap guitar. It was all I could afford.
Right.
It wasn't what I wanted, but I moved on quickly to getting a Fender Strat.
Right.
Which is what I still play.
Because when I first saw you and first heard about you and first heard you were from Norway, I was like, wait a second, he's got to be influenced by Yngwie Malmsteen.
Okay, yeah, for sure.
Right.
We can talk about Yngwie as much as you want.
Let's talk about him. Well, he's from Norway. Is he from Norway? He's from Norway,
so
right?
He's from Sweden.
He's from Sweden. Well, that's close.
He's from Stockholm, yeah.
Okay, but it's close. But, I don't know if you guys remember Yngwie Malmsteen from the 80s, but it's just, he was the fastest guitar player. Like, Eddie Van Halen was fast.
Wow.
Steve Vai was faster. This guy was faster than him. I know a lot of guitar players, and every guitar player just worships him. And every musician I've ever heard is also inspired by a band called Dream Theater, who I've never heard. But I should probably listen to them too, huh?
You should.
Yeah?
Definitely.
So it's very technical, the guitar playing. Mm-hmm. And Yngwie Malmsteen plays a Strat.
He does.
And that's why you want to play a Strat?
There were two guitar players that made me want to play the Strat, and that was Yngwie Malmsteen and David Gilmour.
Right, from Pink Floyd.
Pink Floyd.
Right.
So, before that, I thought I didn't think it was a guitar for rock, and that was the complete.
Right.
It was wrong, because a lot of metal and rock guitar players use the Strat.
Yeah, it's basically two kinds of the two real major guitars, or every guitar is kind of a variation of Les Paul or Strat. And you don't play like I'm looking at your album cover. You're not playing. It's been modified.
So this is
your guitar you're playing.
I like to call it. You have the Super Strat, which is
right.
All the Ibanez's and all that stuff, and I call it the Hyper Strat.
Right.
It's another step above. It's a triple humbucker Strat.
Okay.
Which is kind of it's a tribute to Ace Frehley.
Right.
From Kiss, because Kiss was one of my very early influences.
Right.
And I just love the look of 3 humbuckers. Now that was on a Les Paul. So
right.
I said, I haven't seen anyone playing a Strat with 3 humbuckers. I mean, maybe that should be my thing.
Right. And I'm trying to think if I could think of people that I've seen people with the 2 humbuckers and
the single coil.
Yeah, I've seen Iron Maiden.
That's a lot more common. Yeah,
right.
Dave Murray
right.
does that.
So it's you've kind of got the best of both worlds because you got the humbuckers, which Les Pauls have, and the Strat body, and of course the whammy bar, which that's why when I first got a guitar, I got a Strat because and I didn't learn. I didn't really learn. I just kind of I tried to learn.
You're like me. You're a comedian. You wish you were a rock star.
I took a couple lessons and basically. For a year, I just kind of went, wah, 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 yeah, just did that. So
that's all I did too. I bought an acoustic.
Oh, you're nerd now.
I fucked around on it for a year. I wasn't even like I wanted to learn, but it was like, it hard. Can I just make some fucking noise with it?
Right.
So.
Did you make noise with it?
Yeah, man. Yeah. I just bought my son a Fender. It was an old classic. No pickup on it, nothing but
like a Telecaster. Or...
An acoustic?
Acoustic, yeah. It was pretty cool, you know. He graduated high school, so I was like, yeah, I'll buy you something, you know. So, and I ordered it off the Goodwill website, you know.
Oh, that's great.
So it's like I had to bid for it, but like, hey, I want it. You
Goodwill's
know,
got a website?
It was beautiful.
I didn't know
yeah.
about this.
Wow.
Oh no, and the thing about Goodwill website, like, let's say if you found a Fender that's really worth $5,000, they can't sell it for $5,000 because they're a nonprofit.
Right.
So they have to sell that for like $250, $300. So you're gonna really find good deals. It's just that you have to bid against other people.
Right. Well, that's
So hey, everybody out there, go do that.
And then when that box arrives at your door that says Goodwill.
Yeah, and then it was like, whoa! It was an original,
Case?
case. I was like, woo!
Wow.
Has all the serial number.
Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty cool, man. He still has it. All his buddies, they rock out. He's a skateboarder, you know. So, kind of like when your cousin.
My cousin,
Yeah.
Your cousin.
Paul Rodriquez.
Yeah, Paul Rodriguez.
Jr.
Oh, wait. Your cousin is Paul Rodriguez?
Yeah, or my uncle is Paul Rodriguez.
Right. But Paul Rodriguez is a skater.
Yeah, like Paul Rodriguez. No,
Paul Rodriguez, the comedian.
the comedian is
His
my
son,
uncle,
his-
and then so he's my cousin.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wait a second. We must have talked, because I remember, we must have talked to Bart Sinister or something, because I think I remember this story.
Yeah. It's,
Paul Rodriguez, the comedian, is your uncle.
yes.
And Paul, I don't know why I was banging on the table. Paul Rodriguez, the comedian, is your
You're
uncle.
trying to remember.
Yeah.
I swear we had this
Sometimes that
conversation.
helps. It's like
You're like Paul Rodriguez is the skater, and I'm like, well, and then we had this whole like, no, my uncle and my cousin, the whole thing. But yeah. No, I mean, actually, it's kind of weird that Paul Rodriguez, the skater, has kind of become more famous than Paul Rodriguez, the
my God,
comedian,
yeah.
It's amazing.
who was
He's
famous
doing
enough.
really well.
Oh, he's great. Yeah. So wow, that's quite a family.
Right?
Yeah. Did they ever come into a 5-star bar?
Man, I want to get him in. I just send him flyers every time I do a show, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I hope he comes in. But I just wanted to go see him like last month, and then JR saw him recently. He did a pop in.
Well, he's great. Yeah.
You know, somewhere, and then I'm gonna go see him again on the 10th.
Yeah.
So when I see him on the 10th, I'm gonna tell him like, hey, come
Well,
be
tell-
one of my special guests.
Well, hey, tell him I'm one of his biggest fans,
Right, I
and
know.
get him on the Dark Mark show. We can
Oh
all,
my God.
we can all hang out.
Maybe he would love it.
Maybe I'll try to contact him.
Yeah.
Anyway, so your son is going to be a rock star, which brings us to your first single.
My son's a rapper too.
Oh,
So he
there we
plays
go.
guitar, and he's like 6'2", so he's way better looking than me, and you gotta have it
Right.
going on, and he could. And his
How did that
buddies,
happen?
They shred, and then they all they're jumping off, landings with
Yeah.
their boards, and
How did you end up with a 6'2" good looking son?
wow, I guess it's genes now. Actually, he just his mom never knew her real dad, and she's half white and she's half Indian. So I only knew her mom, who's Indian. I never met her dad because she's never met him, and she just her mom passed away, so she just remembers his name was Thomas McKaylee. And he was Irish. And lived in
You don't
Nebraska,
say.
right?
You don't say.
So then
Thomas McKaylee Irish? No
she
way.
just like last year, she did the 23andMe DNA test, and then all of a sudden, this white dude who's English pops up on her profile, and it's her dad. She reaches out to him. They reunite. Now my kids have like a grandfather on that side, and he looks just exactly like my son.
There you go.
Tall, handsome. I'm like, that's where it gets.
That's it.
So my
Grandpa.
kids are part white, so I kind of hate them a little.
Well, yeah, I guess there's a little animosity. Yeah, your kids are keeping you down. I understand how it is. Oppressive. But yeah, so Rocky, now you signed with with a very prestigious agency.
Mm-hmm.
You got
Allied Artists.
Artists. You've got Kim here, who's worked with everybody from Pink Floyd. Your hero is Pink Floyd. Now you're a shredder, but you like Pink Floyd and you like other atmospheric music.
Mm-hmm.
And so you signed with them a while ago.
Mm-hmm.
And your album's just coming out now. What have you been doing in those 6 or 7 years?
The thing is, it's interesting because from my perspective, I've been doing all these different things, and we've been doing everything kind of secretively and not telling anybody.
Right.
So now, starting pretty much right now, we're going to just throw all this content out of all the things we've been doing, because we got the album, we got the music video,
Right. The secret's out, yeah.
and we got the making of the album. We're doing making of the music video. All these things that we're gonna throw out there. That's gonna show all the things we've been doing.
You've been working all of this stuff behind the
all the
scenes.
stuff that we've been working on. So it's all gonna come out pretty much at the same time, and then you're gonna know.
Well, let's find out right now, because I'm gonna play Rockstar, which is the first single. I saw the video. We all were watching the video, which is great. Very
Awesome.
80s throwback, but a kind of a parody of the 80s. Kind of, it's got elements of Twisted Sister, so a little Van Halen, Hot for Teacher if you're really in a weird mood. Little Let's Get Rocked by Def Leppard, kind of that type of thing. But sort of, it's sort of a parody of that. But the song is great. Let's take a little listen to that. Rockstar. Rocky, Rocky, Rocky.
Yeah.
We're going to leave you waiting for that solo, but Rockstar, that single's coming out. When is that coming out?
The single's coming out July 30th, and the music video is going to be out a few weeks before that.
Okay, yeah, definitely you want to check out the video. The video's got animation. It's crazy. It's fun. It's still playing behind us, but we're gonna this is the commercial song on the album. There's it's a hit.
Yeah.
Do you think it's a hit? I think it's a hit.
This is the sort of the introduction to get you. If you're not into the progressive just yet,
Yeah.
this is to give you the poppiest song,
Right.
to give you a chance to get into the music, and then
Right.
if you keep listening to the album, then it gets more progressive, it gets heavier.
Sure.
If you're into that sort of thing.
Now here's the thing. You're a young guy.
Mm-hmm.
You were born in the 90s.
I'm like 17, 16.
No, you're not. No, you're not. But no, but I mean, there's all these influences from the 70s and 80s. Like when you were in Norway, were you I mean, your contemporaries, your friends must have been into rap, must have been into EDM and other things, and grunge, and you don't like grunge?
Not really.
No, that's fine. You don't have
bit,
to.
but,
No, I did like the Nirvana cover, but
Oh well, I think Nirvana is definitely one of the better bands.
right,
Not just in grunge, but in rock in general.
right. But you had some real heavy hitters producing the album.
Well, it was all produced by Kim Richards.
It was
who is with
Kim
us.
Richards. Kim Richards, yeah. Kim
So-
Richards is. I definitely want to interview Kim Richards on his own. I got to do the proper research. There he is, right there. Hi, Kim.
He's here.
But it was also engineered by. Who's the guy that engineered it?
It was mostly Steve Ullman,
Steve Ullman.
who's he's engineered a lot of rock bands, Disturbed, and
Right.
he did. If you're familiar with the Black Album, the Black Album is known for its drums. He actually helped making the drum samples that you can now buy if you want your album to sound like the Black Album.
The Black Album from Metallica.
From Metallica, yeah.
Yeah.
Which was recorded in the same studio where I recorded.
Okay.
Which is now called.
I
Symphony
was going to
Birds.
say, yeah. That must have been something.
Oh, absolutely. And we're going to release a documentary about it that gives you a taste for what it was like.
Right.
Which was inspired. One of the things that inspired me growing up was watching Metallica record in that studio. So that was really one of the very few studios that I knew about. And, particularly in LA, I didn't know much about LA before I came here. So seeing them record there became sort of like, that's how I imagined myself record. So it was like a dream come true to actually be there and record.
Well, it's like
my
The
album
Secret.
there.
You manifested it.
So you got if you want to make your dreams come true, you got to know what they are.
Exactly. Now I skipped all over that. When did you come to LA, and what was that like?
It was I came here in 2011.
Right.
So it's been here a while. But yeah.
Well, you were born in the 90s, so...
Yeah.
Right.
I was just a young pup.
So you're here. You're 17, 18, or what have you, or whatever you're going to say your age was. But you're
I'm over 21.
yeah. Well, we got to go to a 5-star bar afterwards. Hey, you want some whiskey? Go right ahead. So, but no, but when you got here, was it? Did you already have some connections, or you just the cliche? You came here with a guitar on your back and like $500, and you're like, I'm gonna make it.
Basically, I wanted to go to LA since I was 15, so I needed to figure out how, because the biggest problem is that if you're from another country, you can't work here.
Right.
And you can't stay here more than, I think it's 3 months if you don't have a visa. So
right.
I had to figure out how can I be here longer than that and try to meet people. So I realized that the best way to do it was through a school. So I went to an English school so I could work on my English and go to Hollywood at night. So which I found out was not very convenient because I was in Redondo Beach.
Oh wow!
So without a car, without a driver's license,
it's a long walk.
That's $100 taxi ride.
Yeah, no, that's pre-Uber for the kids out there. Yeah,
which I don't even know if Uber existed when I first came here.
No.
I didn't know about it.
No, 2011. No, I was like probably 13, 14 when that
Uber
came
is
out.
something that it's more recent.
Right.
So if Uber existed back then, I would have used it. I think.
Right. But it's tough.
But it was tough, and it was really tough in the beginning because I didn't know anybody, and it was actually I was living with an old lady named Sonia, and she said, "Why are you here? You don't need to learn English."
Right.
So I said, "Well, I'm really here to meet people in the music industry."
Mm-hmm.
So she says, "Well, let me help," and I'm thinking, "Well, who is she going to know?"
Right.
So she calls her friends, and then the friends are calling other friends, and all of a sudden, I'm, fast forward to January of 2012, I'm at the Village recording studio with Mike Pinera, who was the guitar player for Alice Cooper and Iron Butterfly.
Wow.
Who's Image. So all of a sudden,
you doing a session?
We're there recording demos for this album.
Really?
So. And it was Mike that introduced me to Kim.
Right.
And then
the ball started rolling.
And then Kim showed my music to Stefan Bauer, who was the president of the label.
Right.
The record label of Allied Artists Music Group. and then got signed and started first developing.
Who's this old lady, Stevie Nicks? Well, who are you living with?
Well, that's exactly. It was. I mean, it's just very nice, and unfortunately, she passed away a few years ago. But very nice lady.
Aretha Franklin? Who was she?
She was a tennis teacher, and she actually her father was like was kind of sort of an actor in some of the very early movies.
Okay.
He was like a boxing guy.
Yeah.
So he's been in some movies. I want to say with like Charlie Chaplin or something. So,
yeah, you never know who you're going to meet.
So you never know. I'm telling you, it's amazing.
Yeah, and for you to be there at that time, I mean, it's destiny.
It's one of those things when because there's people that grow up here that who haven't had the opportunities that I've had.
Right.
And I don't even